to my latest video. Yes, don't really know what to say. Yeah, a video that I've promised to do. No, as the title suggests, not my collection video. That is coming. There's my collection. It looks a bit bare because I have a lot of it down in front of me here. So this video, as the title suggests, is me talking through, as I promised you, the upcoming Volume 4 perfumes from Lush. Now this has been a long time coming. With Lush, and I've said time and time again, they like to keep us all on our toes the whole time. Is this product coming out? Yes it is. No it isn't. It's only going there, it's coming here, it's going everywhere. Oh my goodness, what is going on? And then all of a sudden another product comes out that wasn't even mentioned and everyone's like, whoa, what is that product? That is how Lush seem to work. I mean, maybe in their little factories, and not in their factories necessarily, but in the little offices, you know, with Mark and Simon and Jack and Rowena, and you know, maybe they sort of have an idea of what's happening with the company, but from an outside perspective it's just very all over the place. You know, you're expecting something that's supposedly coming out and it doesn't come out, and then all these perfumes like Volume 4 suddenly show themselves at the showcase. Everyone goes crazy, wants to buy them all, and then it's like they're not coming out, but they are coming out, but they're coming out in the summer, but they're not coming out in the summer, and then only some of them are coming out, and then... Okay? So what I wanted to do today is very quickly, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this, but I wanted to talk to you about my experiences with my recent trip to Edinburgh, which I'm going to do a actual written blog, like the old-fashioned, like, you know, writing and stuff. I'm probably going to be interrupted at some point today because I have two supposed, one collection, one delivery. Sorry, I'm just being really... Sounded like someone was knocking on my door then, but it wasn't. False alarm. I have somebody coming and collecting a massive part of my collection that I've sold off, and I supposedly have this mystery parcel. It's a Lush parcel. UPS is saying it's still in their vehicle to be delivered. But I received my ectoplasms today, but I don't normally I'm going off tangent here. I don't normally receive a UPS tracked delivered, sending emails all the time, updating me on this parcel when it's a parcel that has 2 bath bombs in it. It's normally a bigger parcel, but I could be wrong. I could be getting my hopes up that Lush is sending me something, because I haven't ordered anything else from Lush aside from those 2 ectoplasms. So I'm hoping I get disturbed for that reason. But anyway, so my Lush trip to Edinburgh, as I say, is going to be mostly written because I want to talk you through the stories of each of the perfumes, and I actually want to reference one of my good friends, Helen, Aberdeen Lushy. She posted a video earlier today talking about her experience, and one of the things that she said that I completely agree with, and I'm probably going to paraphrase her wrong here because my memory's like that, is that Lush have always been more than just about perfumes when it comes to their perfumes. There's always been stories behind it and reasons that these perfumes, these scents, these fragrances have been created, and that is what I love, and that's why I collected and unfortunately sold on a lot of my perfumes, because you know, you have, and I'm not going to name drop all the big companies, but you see, I said this before actually, you see all those adverts on TV, you know, all the big fancy adverts that have cost millions of pounds, you know, all these, you know, dead-eyed looking people like, oh, spray this perfume and you go into the shop and you smell those perfumes and they're just generic, and you know they've been created in a factory to sell and make lots and lots of money. And don't get me wrong, I know that Lush are a business, they're a company, they want to sell, but there's so much more behind their perfumes, and they really do think about what they're creating when they bring it out to you. So there's something special about it. And what I really loved about my trip to Edinburgh the other day, which I'll go into more detail with in my written review or my written experience, is that these perfumes to me came to life. Now I've been lucky enough that I knew people who were able to get me some of the perfumes when they originally leaked back at the Creative Showcase last year, and since then I've also managed to acquire other ones through various means, eBay, swapping, whatever it may be. And I've had a lot of these perfumes and I love a lot of these perfumes, but going around with Simon Constantine, house samples, and just hearing the stories and the reasons and the influence and the inspiration behind these perfumes. I'm pointing down at my lap here, which just probably looks wrong from the camera angle, but just hearing, I really can't tell you. It was just absolutely mind-blowing, unbelievable. Like, for a start, I have to say, and I'm not just saying this because I want to be positive, but house samples. You just meet these people in your life that are so naturally eccentric and interesting, and you listen to their life stories and you listen to what they have to say, and you just think, whoa, like this is the reason why these perfumes are so magical. So while I was originally excited for these perfumes coming out, and I you know, loved collecting them all, I sort of again then was like, well, they're not my favourites, so they're on the shelf and I'm using them from time to time, but people are talking about them and I'm not necessarily getting engaged in that conversation. But having gone to Edinburgh, having listened to Simon's inspiration behind the perfumes, having listened to House Samples' stories, having seen this setup in the biscuit factory, has just made me fall in love with this entire collection all over again. You know, even if there are some scents here that I don't necessarily always want to wear, and wouldn't be classed as a favourite, just knowing the stories behind them is incredible. So I've been talking for far too long. What I'm going to get on to now is just talking you through each of the perfumes that I have, and there are some here that I don't have. I'm very bitter about it. For example, Model. I fell in love with Model. It's one of my favourites actually of the new range, but it's not available to buy. I'm not going to feed into any sort of rumour mill about which perfumes are coming out where and here, and there's white labels, there's black labels. I don't know what perfumes are coming out when, and I have an idea of which perfumes are exclusive to the biscuit factory, which ones are exclusive to, for example, the Lush kitchen, which ones are coming out for the full range in every store, which ones are supposedly coming out as exclusives for Oxford Street. I am not going to feed into that because I don't know. Lush seem to change their mind all the time, and I'm just left going, for those of you who read my review last year of when I went down to the Lush kitchen, and I was told down the Lush kitchen, you know, that they're not allowed, at the time, they weren't able to make brand new products. They were just sort of remaking products that have already been pre-released. Obviously that's gone out the window because we've had so many body lotions and things that have never come out before. And I'm just like, wow, I wrote that in my review and now my review doesn't make any sense. And people are like, Jen doesn't know what she's talking about because she's saying you can't do that, but they are doing that. So I'm not going to do that. If I even get on to talking about the perfumes, of which I have my little collection here, I'm just going to talk you through a little bit about each perfume. Did I say perfume then? Perfume. I did it again. Perfume. It's because I haven't been teaching for 6 weeks almost. I lose the ability to actually articulate words. Perfume. And just to give you an idea for those when it's coming out, what perfumes to go for and so on. Yeah, I'm going to start with, I have to start with this one. It wasn't because I've never had this perfume before, but I fell in love with it. This is Tank Battle. Look at that one there. I really hope, for the sake of you guys, that this perfume makes itself available some point, somewhere, somehow for you guys, because this is just, I'm going to spray myself for every perfume, I'm going to smell like a dream by the end, and I'm going to be a happy person. Tank Battle is inspired, and again I'm not going into the big lots of information, whatever I'm saying, stories about the perfumes, that will come out in my written review, but this is based on a tank and a certain person, rentless person, and the battle that they had with a tank, a big tank. I'm not talking like a tank with a gun. See, I'm trying to skip over the story, but I make the story to sound even worse. I'm just going to talk about the smell, okay? So the idea behind Tank Battle is that there's supposed to be the very first smell that you get, the sort of top note, is supposed to be like the dampness of rain, which is really hard to describe, but it does have a very cool, almost dewy smell at the top. I do get what you mean. Do you get what you mean? Who's you? I do get what they mean when they say that there is that sort of dampness from the rain. And until you have it yourself on your skin, you won't sort of understand that. But that rain, that dewiness, that coolness disperses very quickly. And you're left with a smell that is supposedly like raspberry bubblegum. But here's the big thing. I don't want people to write it off and think it's going to be, oh, like a wet raspberry bubblegum. It's not. It's so much more complex. This is Lush we're talking about. We're not talking about a Britney Spears perfume that's really simplistic. It's like raspberry bubblegum, but there's a floral element to it. There's a slight resinous, almost woody, I'm not going to say smoky, almost woody element to this perfume. Okay, this perfume, and I think the resinous from it comes from the, and I can never pronounce this. I don't even know if I should attempt to pronounce it. I'm going to look at it and try and pronounce it phonetically, okay? Labdanum. Labdanum? Aladdin, I don't know, okay? You know what I'm talking about. That's one of the key ingredients, and I think that's what gives it that sort of quite resinous, sweet smell, and that's where the raspberryness comes from as well. Smells so good! There's patchouli in here, which is probably why I'm so super excited about the patchouli, and there's clove. The clove comes through more. I'm sniffing my hand. I have, by the way, used all of these. I'm just sort of sniffing to rekindle my my appreciation of them. The clove comes through as a very slight dry note, but it's not very clovey, so don't be put off if you don't like things like, and I always say this, Phoenix Bubble Bar, which is very highly clove. It's not like that, but you can appreciate the fact the clove is in there. Over time, this one does settle, the sweetness disperses slightly, and you just get that sort of resinous woodiness. And I don't want to say the word stark, because stark isn't really a word to describe something when it comes to smell. But you do get the starkness of the patchouli as it sort of elevates and the spiciness goes with it. But Tank Battle, I've been, again, talking about this one for so long. I have a lot to get through, Jen. Let's just get on. Tank Battle is a really, really lovely smell. There's a lot going on here. It changes over time. It stays on the skin for a good many hours, and it is lovely. Next one, which is one of my favourites, but I have to be in the mood for it. It is Cardamom Coffee. Now, most people who have tried cardamom and coffee, I always say cardamom and coffee, it's not, it's cardamom coffee. Cardamom coffee, I said it again, cardamom coffee. This one is incredibly rich. I'm just going to spray the tiniest little amount to rekindle my my appreciation of this one. This is so rich. You have to be in the mood for it, and if you don't like heavy perfumes, do not get this one at all, okay? This is rounded, this is creamy. When I first smelled this, it reminded me of, it's really weird because you can sort of get the coffee element, but it's not coffee. It just smells like a very caramelized, again I use the word resinous, smoky, herbally cardamom smell. It is super strong. I can imagine it being a signature smell. There's rose oil in here as well as cardamom oil, so you do get the rose, and it's a very strong rose, but the rose isn't strong in the overall mix. Like, you don't, when you smell this, you don't go, rose. But the rose is very potent in the mix, but then so is the cardamom, and so is everything else. There is also olive leaf absolute in here. I don't know why I keep hiding my face, by the way. Sorry. Well, I suppose it might be a good thing to hide my face, but you know. But Cardamom Coffee, really rich, rosy, cardamom, caramelized, slightly smoky, very slightly smoky, not that much smoke, but a very, very, very pungent smell. If your nose is sensitive to smells, don't get it. If you want to make a statement, get it. Again, see, I'm not going over the stories here. The stories will come later. The next one is this one here, which is one of the most expensive ones. And I love the story behind this, but I'm sort of teasing you a little bit because I'm not going to go into detail. This is Sweet Grandma. Now this is rose, 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 rose. There's rose absolute in here. There's also rosewood oil, and there is jasmine. This is not a personal favourite. I think if you're a fan of Death and Decay, sound effects, you might quite like this one. It doesn't smell like Death and Decay, but it does smell very similar. It's a light, crisp floral smell. The rose and the jasmine are really quite thin. It's a strong smell, don't get me wrong, it's not like it's a weak smell, but whereas something like Imogen Rose, I'm just sort of linking up the perfumes here, something like Imogen Rose, you get that real musky, real powdery rose smell. You don't get that here. This is not musky. This is a refreshing, uplifting, crisp floral smell, which is why I'm linking it to Death and Decay. And I hope that you're going to read my blog on this, because this has got a really lovely story behind it, and it actually almost made me cry when I heard the story. I'm trying to speed up a little bit here because I've been talking for far too long. So that's Sweet Grandma. Next up on the list, we have this one here, which has come out before in the Lush kitchen. This is what would love do, and again, story behind this is amazing. This one here is tangerine oil, benzene resinoid, and I'm going to run out of arm space soon, but it's okay because I have another arm. I got another element then that I haven't smelled before. This is fruity. This is really fruity, but it's lovely. I really liked the Sun perfume when that first came out, but I found that it didn't last on the skin very long, and it was quite two-dimensional, really. It was just sort of orange. This one is different. It's just sweet, tart. Again, it's quite crisp. It's a happy smell. You can really get the tangerines. It's making me salivate a little bit. It's very lovely, a very natural smell. It smells so good. I'm just gonna see if there's anything else in there, because yeah, lavender. The lavender is not as strong in the mix as the tangerine is, or the benzene resinoid, but there's a very slight undercurrent of lavender, which I think is what's going to help this stay on the skin longer than a lot of Lush's citrus perfumes, or just citrus perfumes in general. I say citrus perfumes, I wouldn't describe this as being a citrusy smell that much, but it's just like fresh tangerines. Imagine taking like a really fresh, really ripe, lovely tangerine and sort of squeezing it in front of your nose. You get all of those gorgeous, gorgeous natural elements to the smell. And yeah, I love this one. This is a really, really good one to have. A very good summery one, brightens the mood. What would love do? That is a question. Next one, another one of my favourites, is this one here. This is Iron Mesh, and I love the story behind this. Don't focus on my face, please. I have actually already given you the story of Iron Mesh, and many of these actually on my reviews, so if you want to hear them before, while you're being impatient for me bringing them out again, please go and check out my review of this one here. This one is Egyptian geranium oil, cypress oil, sandalwood oil. I have to read the ingredients because my mind is just not working right now, but I'm now on my upper arm. You've straight away the geranium. I didn't think I'd like this one. I do, because it's a very dusty geranium smell. I don't know what's all the sound effects today. I don't know, sorry, I apologise for this. This one is, as I say, a very cloudy geranium smell. The cypress oil brings a richness to it, a slight, I don't want to say oily, but I'm trying to think of the smell that oil gives, and it's not resinous. I use the word resinous quite a lot. Brings like a roundness, a wholesomeness to the geranium, so it's not just a geranium sort of flying out and giving that powdery, dusty, musty, I'm just repeating myself. It's just a floral smell, like a really dusty, powdery floral smell. But it's a really nice one. There's the natural sweet elements of the floral, which is really, really great. This is another one that stays on the skin for a very long time, and it doesn't quite match up with the story. For me, when I think about the story that I've been told of that perfume, and then I think about the smell, it doesn't quite match up for me. But up next is one that everyone's been talking about quite recently. I don't know who everyone is, by the way. Nah, it's not gonna focus. Why are you not focusing, you silly thing? There we have it, not that you need to see it in focus. It is a Blackcurrant Angel. This one has, I probably can't pronounce this, guacwood oil in it, and osmanthus oil. And again, I'm going to reference to Helen and lots of other people who said this. When people think of blackcurrant, when I heard this one had come out in the showcase and I wasn't able to get it, I was like, oh my god, blackcurrant! You know, I fell in love with the comforter because I love blackcurrant smells. This is not what you're going to expect whatsoever. When you smell it in the bottle, which I can't smell it in the bottle, that's going to help me, Jen. Well done. Let's start on the hand on this side. The initial smell you get, the very quick initial smell for about, there you go, gone. All of 6 or 7 seconds, you do get that real sweet blackcurrant smell, like the comforter. For those split 6 seconds, you go, comforter. And then it disperses. And while you still have that, you don't have as much of the fruitiness. The fruitiness sort of moves itself down a little bit. And then in almost, I'm going to repeat myself here, almost like a musky, woody smell comes out and settles on your skin more. It's much more mature than the comforter. It's one that I think a lot of people might buy thinking it's going to be like the comforter and then get sorely disappointed. It is not. You do get that for about 6 seconds. You get the sort of tartness, fruitiness of blackcurrant, and then that just goes, and the woodiness, the osmanthus, and that come to the forefront, and you get a sweet but slightly woody, slightly musky, almost floral sort of smell. I don't know what this is. Playing piano upside down. That is the Blackcurrant Angel. No, it's not. It's Blackcurrant Angel. There's no that in it. Wow, I've been talking for far too long. I feel like I need to do this video across like 5 or 6 parts, but I'm going to carry on. I'm going to persevere. Next up, we have this one here, which I have to say is one of my least favourites. Focus. No. Why are you focusing on my niece behind? She's stealing the show and she's not even here. This is Secret Garden. And this one, again, just like Blackcurrant Angel, has osmanthus in it. If my face ever goes out of focus and it focuses on this little thing up here, bless her, I'm not going to be best pleased. I feel like I should do a face swap right now. Imagine doing the whole video with a face swap with a baby, or a toddler should I say. This one has Osmanthus Absolute, Everlasting Flower Absolute and Myrrh Resinoid. This is one that I like in the bottle. I don't like so much on my skin, and it's going to be different for everyone because when I smell it in the bottle I do get a really strong smell of myrrh. It's very grounded, very rich, very intoxicating, and I do get the osmanthus as well. But when I spray it on my skin, wow, that's quite a lot. It smells to me, it smells to me a bit alcohol-y. Somebody's just concocted, someone's gone, Jen, come on, you've got a drink, we're going to pour in some whiskey and some rum and some vodka and like make this horrible, horrible collaboration of tastes. It's very dirt-like. I'm not going to say mossy, it's not mossy, but you wouldn't, for Secret Garden, you're probably expecting a lot of floral components to come out, and this is not a floral smell that much. This is a really difficult one to smell, but it's almost like they've taken like weeds and grass and dirt and moss and all of these things and sort of compacted them together and then just like pushed it down a level. I can't describe this one. There you go, hold my hands up. I can't describe Secret Garden. All I know about Secret Garden is I'm not particularly a fan of it. But some people will be, I'm sure. Up next we have another one that's already been out in the kitchen before. There we go. No, don't focus on the baby, focus on me. This one has cocoa, it has vanilla, it has benzoin resinoid. Again, like Cardamom Coffee, this one I think is more of a wintry smell, and it's a very comforting one, and I have to be in the mood for it even though I love it. It's like making your own caramel, your own dark treacle caramel, and adding in like vanilla absolute and sugar, brown sugar. It's so robust and so wholesome. I love it. It doesn't remind me of my home. I wish my home smelled like this. Oh, so good. You can smell the richness, the muskiness of the vanilla, but it's also, like I say, like a black treacle, brown sugary sort of smell. And it lasts for hours and hours and hours. Another one that if you go out of the house, you're really making a statement using this one here. There's not much more I can say on that, as I'm not going to go into the stories. Up next, we have this one here, which is also coupled with this here. This is Self-Esteem Machine. My camera hates me today. It clearly wants me to face swap with my niece called Winter, should I say. Self-Esteem Machine. At the moment, this is the only one that was available at the thing. There goes my word thing again. At the event the other day. I don't know whether or not the perfume's going to come out in this format. I don't know. That's my motto for this month, this year. I don't know. Self-Esteem Machine is one of my favourites. And I don't know why I keep going into song when I can't sing. I just breathed in it there. Ugh. This one has Sicilian mandarin oil, grapefruit oil and vanilla absolute. Oh, this is a nice, light, gentle, crisp smell. Perfect for this time of the year. If the British weather would actually give us some sunshine. Not that I really care because I only have a day and a half and then I'm off on holiday to somewhere that's 31 degrees. I'm going to come back looking like a raisin. I don't want to put people off, but when I smell this perfume, and I've just been reminded smelling it again, if you really look into detail and smell this perfume in a lot of depth, you get an almost sort of like swimming pool chlorine smell to it, very, very light. So don't sort of smell it too much, don't sit there like doing this like a crazy person all the time. But this is just a light, gentle, I wouldn't class it as, it's not citrusy, it's not zesty, it's not particularly fruity. It's like they've just taken like the mandarin and they've taken the vanilla and they've taken a few ingredients and just sort of like, just chilled it out a bit. Really nice and light. Up next, personal favourite and the actual first perfume that you engaged with when you walk into the Edinburgh biscuit factory is this one here. Rose, 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 rose. This is Rose Absolute and Orange Flower Absolute, and there's a little bit of violet leaf in as well. The violet leaf really supports the rose in this one for sure. No, it's not rose jam. While I love rose, Imogen Rose, it's a very musky rose smell. And it's not necessarily a natural musky rose smell. When you walk into a floral shop, not a floral shop, when you walk into a florist, it's a floral shop, but it's called a florist, Jen. When you walk into a florist and you smell roses, you're not going to smell rose jam, you're not going to smell Imogen Rose. This one reminds me very much of when you smell roses. There's something very green-like about this smell here, and the violet really helps to engage with that rose and give you something very, very different. This is quite a musky smell again. It is a floral smell. If you like your rose, you'll like it. If you don't like violet, I would avoid this one, because although the violet isn't the main key ingredient, it does have a lot of say in the overall smell of this one here. This is rich, this is intoxicating, this is strong. This will last on your skin for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. It smells good. Worst review ever. It smells good, guys. It smells nice. Yes, it smells good. That's going to help you, isn't it? Up next, I'm probably really annoying today. This is Amelie May. Yay! No! Stop focusing on my niece. Stop it. I don't know what I'm doing there. High-fiving nobody. Amelie May. I'm hoping this comes out in the kitchen at some point, because the smell lends itself to fun so well. I really love the fun. You get so much of a jammy element here. Amelie May is named after one of Simon Constantine's daughters, his other daughter being Imogen Rose, hence the original Imogen Rose linking up to this perfume. And this perfume has lavender oil, ylang ylang and Rose Absolute. As I said in my review of this one, I've run out of arms. I'm going to have to do it on my palm now. There is something very jammy about this. This doesn't read as it smells. You think lavender, main ingredient, okay, you kind of get a picture in your head or a smell that you can perhaps equate to what you think this smells like. No, 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 no. This is so sweet and it's very playful, but it's not a babyish smell. It's such a lovely smell, and I can really see why this one is going to be one of the most popular smells. It's very jammy. Oh, it smells so good. Again, another fantastic review from All Things Lush UK. It smells good, therefore you should buy it. I just love this one. This has a youthful element to it. The Rose Absolute is very jammy, but no, it's not rose jam. Very different from rose jam. It's got a very much more lighter, spritzier sort of smell about it. Oh, that's so good. Next up, one of my all-time favourites from this collection. This is Rentless. Rentless links up with Tank Battle. Oh, smell it straight away. This is for patchouli lovers. It has patchouli, labdanum. I'm not going to try that again. And Tonka Absolute and grapefruit. This is for those who like that. Oh, it's patchouli goodness. It really is patchouli goodness. I'm going to have to stick. I've got one more to spray. Except I can't spray the last one, so I should have used my other palm, but never mind. Ah, patchouli, 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 patchouli. The grapefruit just takes away from the earthiness of the patchouli just slightly. And then once it settles on the skin after a while, the tonka comes out again very slightly. Don't even associate this with Lord and Misrule. I think I described this, or someone actually quoted me recently, because I have to like paraphrase someone paraphrasing me, that I thought that this was like Lord and Misrule's savage older brother, younger brother, because it's younger brother. And I really do. It's very intoxicating, spicy. You know what I'm going to do, guys, to save time and having to write all these reviews that I'm so far backlogged, it's unbelievable. I'm just going to publish all my reviews today, but I'm going to write Deep Atmosphere Bath Bomb. Good. Wrong. Okay. It might make it easier for me if I just start doing reviews, like one-worded reviews. But Rentless is dry, slightly woody, very spicy, with a slight tiny little bit of tonka. Not much tonka. It's not like Lord and Misrule where the tonka sort of very much immerses itself with the I should learn sign language and I should stop digressing. But Rentless is one of my favourites and I love the story behind it. And the final one, which isn't even mine, it's not available to buy. I don't know if it'll ever be available to buy. I'm going to have to send this off, and I can't even use it because actually when the lovely person sent it to me to use and review, It wasn't until I got it and got it home and looked at it that I realised it wasn't vegan. This is this one, which I'm not even going to pronounce or try to pronounce. Well, I will try to pronounce because that's just the way I am. But I said to somebody, oh yeah, you know, the Manouche Satar, or Manouche Satar, I don't know. Oh, I love the story behind this, and this is a story, again, I'm not going to go into detail, but it's to do with Simon and his excursions to certain places and certain smells that he picked up. I was able to smell this on a card when I was there, and I loved it. It's such a unique smell. Thyme oil, and the reason why it's not vegan is it's got beeswax in it, but it's very herbal, very dry. You can smell the thyme from the bottle, but when you spray it on, well, I suppose it's on your skin, but I've never sprayed it on my skin, but when you spray it, once it settles for a few seconds, you get this really lovely savoury sesame smell underneath, and I really genuinely liked it. I'm disappointed that it's not vegan. I don't know why they cannot take the beeswax out. Why, Lush? You know, I can handle the fact that I couldn't use Hellstone because it had that in. I can just about handle the fact that I can't use Smell of Well is Turning. But this is one that I would use, and I can't use. I could only be taunted by it. And I've got to send this bottle back very soon anyway. So there we have I would say quick, but it's been almost 40 minutes of me babbling on at you about the Volume 4 perfumes. I will say it once again, it's very difficult to get up there for many people to suddenly drop everything they're doing, but if you can over the next few days, get yourself up to Edinburgh to the biscuit factory. If you can't, or you're in other countries, if it comes over to you, if the tour comes over to you, I cannot stress enough. I'm not being paid to say this, I'm not saying this because it's Lush. I really didn't know what to expect when I went out to the Edinburgh Fringe, well, during the Edinburgh Fringe, to go to the biscuit factory, and I was blown away by the stories and the inspiration and the influence behind every single one of those perfumes in front of me there. I am excited for these guys to come out to you. I will probably say, I hate to say this, but I still sort of have a love for Volume 3 a little bit more. I think there's more in Volume 3 for me that stands out, but there's some incredible perfumes down here. Tank Battle, Rentless, Road to Damascus, Iron Mesh, Amelie May, I'm Home. I could name them all. There's very few in this collection that I don't like. They're all very, very different. They all have their fantastic different notes and different layers and different experiences. I now smell like Volume 4, so I smell pretty good. It's a shame I'm not leaving the house for the rest of the day, otherwise I'd probably get a lot of compliments. Oh, I love that smell, what is it? Well, I don't know. Pick a spot, find the smell, and I'll tell you what perfume it is. But that is all the perfumes. I am so excited for you guys to try these. I know a lot of you have already tried them and you probably love them, but I'm just hoping, like, I'm going to say it one final time, I don't understand sometimes the thinking behind Lush where they bring out these perfumes, you know, look at this, Tank Battle, but you're not going to be able to buy it. Model, if I could get my hands on Model, if anyone has Model they can send me. I will pay for it, of course. Please let me know, because Model is another personal favourite and I love the story behind it. But there you have all of, I say all of, who knows? You know, maybe Lush will suddenly go Volume 4 and there'll be another 12 perfumes I've never heard of, because that's what Lush do at times. But they are all of the Volume 4 perfumes that I've tried, experienced, etc. And let me guys, Jen, stop talking, get off camera. You guys let me know below which perfumes you are going to buy, which perfumes you've tried, which one's the most excited about. I'm going to stop talking now because I sound like a gibbering fish. And just look out, because I'm going to record my Lush collection video and hopefully get it all released and updated before I go away on my holiday on Saturday, so you guys can have some more joy and listen to me talking a load of rubbish for another 45 minutes. Anyway, take care.